listeners. Welcome to Plano's Political Pitbull Podcast. I am Esther.
And I'm Ruth.
And we have lots of Plano news to report for you today. But first, our sponsor is Southwest Pain Management. Southwest Pain Management takes care of most chronic pain without pain pills. Their goal is to get you back to doing the things you love. They are also the world's leading long COVID experts. Dr. Groisman sees people from all over the world to treat their long COVID. Southwest Pain Management is in Plano. Please go to their website, reliefbeginshere.com. That's reliefbeginshere.com to see all that they do. So first up today, we have the Plano budget for 2026-2027 is out. Expenditures are proposed to be $841,850,468. Good news is there's more money coming in than going out. The money coming in amounts to almost $1 billion, $988,019,099. So that's good. More money is coming in than going out. That's what we want to see. Leaving us with $146,168,631, or if we're going to just round, $146 million. The bad news is I can't find where that extra money is going to go. It's not going to give us a tax break, that's for sure. And we'll get to that later. Now, the city manager, he proposes the budget and he presents it to council. So our city manager, he wants to keep the tax rate the same as last year. That would be 0.4376 per $100 of assessed property value. Now, the operation and maintenance side of the rate, he wants to go down. He wants that to go down to 0.3136. The debt side, however, he wants to go up. Yes, he wants the debt side to go up. That is currently 0.1150. He wants to raise that to 0.1240.
Isn't this backwards?
What do you mean?
He wants the maintenance to go down, but the debt to go up.
Okay.
Isn't that backwards?
So, let me explain it this way. There's two sides to the tax rate. The money that's going to go for operation and maintenance, and the money that is going to go to pay off our debt. State law says you must pay your debt first. Okay? So, in order to keep the tax rate the same as last year, he has to raise the debt rate because, thanks to last year's bond election, oh boy, do we have a lot of debt. A whole lot of debt.
Oh.
So that's why he wants to do that.
Okay.
Which begs the question, why take on another $700 million in debt to build a hockey rink, Mr. City Manager and Council? We also have some new properties coming online onto the tax rolls in the amount of $655 million in change. That's always good. However, 8.9 million of that is not going to be going to the general fund. No. Instead, it's going to be pilfered into the 6 TIF zone funds, the tax increment financing zones. We now have 6 of them.
Yay.
So, yeah, $8.9 million siphoned away into funds that only go to certain areas of the city.
Yay.
I hope that is a sarcastic yay. Now, it is important to remember for the remainder of this episode that 1 cent or 1 penny of the tax rate equals $6.6 million. So if we want to get rid of 1 cent of the tax rate, they have to pretty much cut $6.6 million. Of course, you see, I think they do this backwards. Okay? You see, our lovely government doesn't do zero-based budgeting. It doesn't say, well, how much money, what is the minimum amount of money that we can take in? No. It says, no, what is the maximum amount of money that we're going to do? How much do we want to stifle from the taxpayers? Or how much do we want to spend, and then figure out how much we want to take from the taxpayers to spend it. With the proposed tax rate staying the same by what the city manager wants, that means our property tax bills are going to go up roughly about $50 for each average homeowner. Be ready to write a bigger check in January, folks.
Yay.
Some spending highlights in the budget. Of course, we have the 3% pay increase for all staff. I think there was only 1 year from the time I've been following this way back years ago that they've actually not gotten a 3% raise. Doesn't matter if it's high inflation, low inflation, no inflation, 3% raise every single year. For at least the past 10 years, minus 1 year. They want to put $3 million into the rainy day fund. That's good. The firefighters' shift change from to 24 hours on, 72 hours off that they just got means that they're going to need $2,450,195 more in the firefighters' budget. Now, I actually am okay with that. I think actually 24 hours on is crazy. But it was worse before they changed it. So at least they only have to be on 24 hours, and hopefully it's a quiet night, some nights. That also includes 22 new firefighters. And we have now found out how much the referendum election is going to cost us for the stars in November. And I was right. I said it was going to be a pretty penny because it's during the midterm election. So we are going to have to pay Collin County Elections Department $900,000. Yes, almost $1 million, folks, for one line on the ballot.
Yay. Okay, I'll stop.
Thank you.
I resisted a couple times while you were talking.
The way it's done is some formula. It has, how they come up with this figure is, it's a formula because they're having an election. It's a major election. Well, if some local entity wants to get onto the ballot, they've got to add them onto the ballot. So that means that we're going to share the costs with the county. And I would think it might have been less than that because we've got a few local entities also having elections in the November election, but apparently not. So we're going to have to fork over a lot of money for this election to decide whether or not we want to raise taxes to build an arena that the stars could pretty much build themselves. Now, if you want to review the budget in more detail than I have given you, you can go to the city website, www.plano.gov/budget. That's www.plano.gov/budget. So Plano's website/budget. The next public hearing on the budget and the tax rate will be held August 24th. And speaking of the tax rate, on August the 10th, the City Council had to decide what tax rate for next year they would put in the Dallas Morning News. We went over this in our last podcast episode. Whatever number they pick to put in the paper, that is the max rate the council can vote on in September when they vote on the budget and the tax rate. Now, Karen Rhodes Whitley, the budget director, who's been the budget director for as long as I can remember, she laid out the different rates for the council. And Karen has done this a long time. She's very good at it. Very good at explaining these very complicated numbers very simply. So the no new revenue rate, that's basically the same amount of money that the city collected this year, it would collect next year, not including any new revenue from new properties that came up online. So that rate would have been, or would be, 0.4332 cents. The current rate is 0.4376 cents. The voter appraisal rate is 0.4585, and that is the maximum amount the council can go before triggering an election to ask the voters if they can raise their taxes above that. So the no new revenue rate would still mean the city would collect more money than it did in 2025-2026 fiscal year because new property came online.
Can I say yay?
No.
I have nothing else to say. I'm very bored.
I'm sorry. I know that the budget and the tax rate is not the most exciting thing in the world.
No, it's not.
However, it is important because guess what, folks? You're going to have to write the property tax bill check in January.
So not only is it boring, it's depressing.
Sure. All right. So 90% of all the new property that came online, by the way, is commercial. So there's no homestead rebate for those, right? No discount for those. They get the full tax amount. Also, the taxable values for properties went up. So even if they picked the no revenue rate, the average homeowner would still find about a $35 increase in their bill from Plano. Remember, we have 4 taxing entities. So this quickly adds up when you've got the school district, the college, Collin College, and the Collin County at large. Done. And if all of them go higher than the known revenue rate, that's going to get pretty expensive. So even if they went with the known revenue rate, there would still get more money, about a $35 increase per homeowner. Now, of course, the money depends on your mileage, as former Councilman Shelby Williams used to say, now running for Commissioner's Court, place for. Because obviously it depends on what your property's appraised value is and taxable value is. So what rate do you think the council went with?
The highest one.
That was what happened last year.
Yeah, I'm thinking history's repeating itself.
Thank you, Julie Homer, for that vote. They actually went with staying with the current rate of 0.4376 cents.
So last year's highest, right?
Yes. So last year's highest rate, they're staying the same. They're keeping. Mm-hmm. Which was approximately $200 or so per homeowner, give or take. Now, before I tell you what the council members said about this, I want to let you know about the breakdown in properties. So Plano currently has 51% of its properties are residential. 49% are commercial or multifamily. When you remove the multifamily from the commercial, the breakdown becomes 10.8% in multifamily, 38.1% commercial. We are getting very close to a 50-50 split between owners and renters, which is going to become a problem. When you own something, you're more likely to put down roots, stay, be involved in the community, and also people are more likely to take better care of something that is theirs and they paid for.
Not necessarily.
Well, some people do the opposite, but it's, unfortunately, we've seen a lot of, even with commercial property owners, something's wrong, they're very slow to fix it, they're not responsive, so, and then also if you're a renter, you don't own something, so maybe something that is broken that it's not your responsibility to fix, you're not going to fix.
Well, that's on the place you're renting from, and if they're slow to fix it, that's not your fault.
No, it is not your fault. Also, you're not transient. It's not easy for you to pick up and leave if you own a place. Whereas if you're renting, you just, if it's a year lease, you rent until the year and then you move. If it's a month to month, you only have to wait until the end of the month and then you can move. So it becomes very transient.
All right, what's your point?
Well, we don't want to see that. It's not good for cities when you get more renters than owners. So. Because you don't have people who put down roots, who be involved in the community, who care about your community. It's something that just happens specifically in larger cities. And that technically, then you start seeing a city go downhill. So, council's comments on the tax rate. So, Mayor Munns, he said that the city manager, Mark Israelson, delivered his budget at the 0.4376 cent rate, and Munns thinks that that's what it should be. Horn, he said, we have kept the tax rate level over the past few years up until last year when we were forced to increase it because of a proposal from the legislature. Okay, I need to pause here. You were not forced to raise the tax rate. The most you could raise it. The most you could raise it. There was not a gun to your head. Okay? Yes, there was talk that the legislature wanted to lower the maximum amount you could raise the tax rate. It didn't come to pass. So you didn't have to do that. Horn continued. When we look at our budget this year, our citizens are expecting to see excellence in all aspects. I clearly empathize with regards to the cost of living increase. With that, I make a motion to approve the 0.4376 cent rate. I'm shocked. Shocked, I tell you.
So you aren't really sympathetic. That was just a bunch of word salad.
That's a nice way of putting it. Yes, he is sympathetic. He somehow thinks that apparently the extra 600 plus million that you're going to rake in ain't going to be enough to maintain things. Councilwoman 2, she said, we have gone through some very difficult times. The city can't be run like it is a household budget. I don't know why, but apparently she thinks it can't be run like a household. How about a business?
They love thinking of council like a business.
They're not running it like one. She continues, public safety has to be paid for. How are we if we stay at the proposed tax rate? She asks. So, according to Karen said, you are doing great now. We're doing great. So, I don't know what doing great.
I'm curious, what hard times was she referring to?
She didn't say. She did not say. But I have a feeling
it's not what I'm thinking of?
No, I think Mark gets into it a little bit. They don't come out and say it straight. And I think it has to do with mostly the amount of debt we're in, which is a lot.
Well, whose fault was that?
Well, I'll let you know in a minute. Give me a minute. Let me tell you the answer.
It was a rhetorical question.
Yes. So, Karen did say, we are having some pressure on our debt, and we will need another debt increase next year. Your next 2 years are fine, according to Karen. It's going out 2028, 2029 that we will be bringing on those huge projects, and we will need more than a penny on the debt side of the rate. And this is where Mark says, the future years, we will likely need to adjust the tax rate to make sure that we can cover the debt. And yeah. See,
again, whose fault was that?
Well, it was council's because
big shock.
They did propose a huge amount of bonds for the bond election last year. But you do have to put the blame where it lies the most. And I'm afraid that is with the voters who voted for the massive amount of debt that we are in.
Mm-hmm.
Now, they haven't taken out or used all of the bonds, issued the bonds yet. But like Karen said, we have some very large projects. You've got the new police headquarters that they just had to go new. They couldn't redo it. They had to go new. You've got a new fire station. Now that we definitely needed a new fire station. I'll go with that. Okay. But they also need to redo a fire station or another fire station because now the new trucks don't fit into the fire station's garage. I will say, we really didn't need to vote for the park bond. Okay? That's kind of a nice to have thing, but it's not police and fire. It's not a necessity. So the citizens, they voted for this. And it did say on those propositions, this will raise your taxes. So if you didn't vote in the bond election, you really, I can't imagine why. Because if you're going to complain about your tax rate and you didn't go vote, you can't complain. And if you voted for the bonds, I would love to know why. You can say no. I know it's a rare thing to happen, but you can say no to these things. Vidal was, the only thing he said was he was happy with the budget. Everyone else said nothing. And of course, the rate that will be published, the rate that the city manager wants, passed 8-0, and that's what's going to be published. Now, if something should happen and they change their mind, find some money, they can go down. They just can't go up.
Doubt they'll ever go down.
So I have a solution, some solutions to their problem, to their spending, to their debt problem.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Solution number 1: stop spending money we don't have.
Oh, what a novel concept.
Okay.
But we need these things.
Well, I'm sorry, we don't need another new park, a trail, or a pickleball court. We do not need another blasted one of those 3 things, which all 3 are very expensive to build and maintain. If you would just stop building the new, that would help. But you see, they don't stop building the new.
We must progress.
We have so many parks, rec centers, trails, that when you go to the city's website and you see all of them in a list, it takes up 3 pages at least.
It's really overwhelming. It's like, which one do I go?
We did an article on all of the parks we have. We listed all of them. There's a lot of parks. I'm sure that people have a park close by. Or if it's not within walking distance, they could drive there. Yeah. We had 1 dog park. We didn't need a second dog park. The 1 dog park we have I've been there. It wasn't that crowded when I went. So why did we need a second dog park? We didn't. Also, another solution. Stop giving money to companies that don't need it. Okay? $500 million to a sour cream company, which I refuse to buy now.
No.
How much money did we give to AT&T? We gave AT&T money, and not only did we give them money, you gave them a property tax abatement. They don't have to pay the full amount of property taxes. Stop doing that. You will see more money in the general fund if you stopped doing that. Also, don't build a hockey arena that you're going to have to maintain and redo every few years. That is just a losing proposition right there. $700 million more in debt just to build the freaking thing. And then millions and millions of dollars to maintain it. Millions and millions of dollars to renovate it every few years. Plus the additional cost in police services on game nights, traffic mediation, more cost to fix our roads because there's going to be more people on our roads to get to the frickin' thing.
We do not need any more maintenance on roads. Please stop.
No, there's going to be more maintenance on the road. That was one of the bonds that they're going to be spending money on.
It never ends.
No.
It never ends.
And it won't. Because by the time they fix one side, they got to start on the other side. So,
I swear, the entire time I've been driving, there's never been a single moment where there hasn't been construction somewhere.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And I've been driving for at least 10 years.
Mm-hmm. And also, stop creating TIF zones. Tax increment finance reinvestment zones. That only keeps the new tax revenue, certain tax dollars, sometimes all of it, depending on how you wrote the dang agreement, in one small area of the city. They can't use it to fund the police. They can't use it to fund the fire department. Which, if you're going to grow, you're going to need new police and new firemen and women. Which we're going to need if you build a $700 million arena. And speaking of the arena, the council has set the special election for the tax increases to pay for the Stars Arena. It will be the same day as the midterms, November 3rd. We've already gone over how much it's going to cost. Comments from the council on this?
Non-existent.
So, for some. So, first, council had some questions. Councilmember Horn asked, this will be the max we can charge in the taxes. Now remember, these are taxes on rental cars, hotel and motel tax, tickets for the game, for the events that the arena is going to hold, and the event fee. for the people that are holding the games in the arena. So he said, these are the max amounts we can charge. And the answer was yes. So good news is they can't go any higher. Next, Horn asked, there's going to be a considerable amount of studies, and we still have a lot of work on our side, and see what we can do to help both the players, but also help the city to generate revenue to support the construction. It wasn't quite a question, but he asked it as a question. And the answer to that was yes. I would like to know why in the world he thinks that they need to support the players. The players are millionaires. They don't need support.
Because they want to bribe them to keep them there.
Well, that would be the team, yeah.
That's my guess.
I hate to say it, but that's a good guess. He also asked, if the vote passes, when do these rates take effect? And the answer was that they would have to come back to council and be finalized. So even if, for some strange and unusual reason, the residents say, yes, please, let's build a stadium for a hockey team that doesn't need it, and let's pay more in taxes so that we can build it, the council could actually just say, I don't know, maybe they could say, well, you know what, after thinking about it, we're not going to do it. Because they got to finalize it. Council member Levine, he asked, what will the city be able to do to educate our citizens about this election? Specifically, what it is not for and what it is for. Councilman Levine, I'm sorry, but you cannot sway the electorate one way or the other. That's a no-no. However,
yeah, I got real confused on that. Like, what are you talking about?
he wants to know, how can we educate the public about the election?
How can we force them to vote the way we want them to vote?
Well, they can't, but the answer was that they will have educational material on the website, and they're going to
quote unquote educational, not persuasional.
Yeah. And they will treat it like another bond election. But again, in the proposition wording, which they also voted on, it says this will raise taxes. It will be in capital letters and bold. So people, if you don't want your taxes to be raised, vote no.
If you don't want this frickin' hockey arena, vote no.
Yeah, exactly. So there were some speakers on this. There were 4 speakers, all against it. The first speaker, he was actually against putting the arena in a residential area. I can agree with that. The next speaker says sports don't provide economic benefits. All true. Increased traffic reduces Plano's attractiveness to families, which we are losing families. We are losing families to Salina and Anna and Princeton.
I wonder why.
There's going to be increased traffic, reduced Plano's attractiveness. Also, why is the venue fee a set amount and not a percentage for the players? So the players, in the language, it says that they're going to, every time a player plays at the arena, they have to pay $5,000 each player. And he actually made a good point. And this is going to take many years to pay off. And you've got inflation. It should be a percentage. It shouldn't be a flat rate of $5,000. The next speaker said, "We did not choose Plano to be next to an arena." And this person asked for a pause until the council can 100% commit to protections for the neighborhoods.
No, just don't build it.
Mm-hmm. The next resident said that the residents should be voting on the $700 million loan. It should not be in the TERS, number 6. Also, he said that 70% of the cost of this arena is going to be on Plano's dime. And that's kind of unusual. I remember this guy, he said that compared with Arlington, who's got so many sporting events there, they don't pay as much they didn't pay as high a percentage for the Dallas Cowboys football stadium or the baseball one they have. And Frisco didn't pay as much for the stuff they have for the sports folks.
Yeah, because they're trying to bribe them to come here.
Mm. Okay. So
Plano is that desperate.
Yeah. I will say I find it very interesting that there was not one person who spoke for this.
I'm shocked.
I actually was surprised because I know I've heard people, at least online, there are some who are very much for the arena being built.
Why?
Most of them don't live on the west side of Plano where the arena would be. So
you have no say.
Yeah, I don't think they should have a say.
If you're not going to be living right by it.
Mm-hmm. So after the speakers spoke, and I'm going to divert a little bit here. I noticed that when the speakers came up, some of them did this. Honorable council members, Mr. Mayor, thank you so much for allowing me the opportunity to speak. Okay, you just wasted 30 seconds. 1. 2, they aren't allowing you to speak. They are required to let you speak by state law. If you want to thank somebody for giving you the opportunity to speak, write to your Texas legislature. Because they made the law that says that as taxing entity, a city council such as themselves must let their residents speak on an agenda item and even a non-public hearing item. So please, you're just wasting time. Believe me, if it were up to them, they would not want you to speak.
Yeah, they're not allowing you. They're forced to.
Yeah. So you're just wasting precious, precious time when you do that. And it's not even going to help your case. Okay? While it's very nice of you, it's not going to help your case, and it's not even factually correct.
They don't care.
So after the speakers spoke, council got to have their 2 cents again. Care, he said, we are a year out before we have all the studies and answers done.
What studies? Jeez.
If we were to make a decision now not to go forward with this, we would be putting ourselves in a bad position. He didn't elaborate on what bad position that would be.
We wouldn't have the stars. That is the worst position they could ever think of.
Possibly. He went on, we have many opportunities to say no in the future. And if I actually do say no, I'll be shocked.
Hell would have frozen over.
No is if the Dallas Stars don't actually come and change their mind.
Or hell freezes over.
Or people vote no on the tax increases, and then they're going to be scrounging to find the money. That'll slow them down. That'll definitely give them pause. Care went on. We will have time to address all the issues that have come up. We will have more town halls and updates going forward. Okay, I feel like I need to help here, okay? Because
why?
If they're going to do studies, that means they're going to spend money on these studies, and they do not need to do that.
I still don't get what they're studying.
Well, they're going to study, I guess, the effectiveness and the economic benefits not benefits, because there aren't any.
Isn't there already studies on that?
Yes, there are.
So why do they got to spend more money on studies that we don't need?
That's why I'm trying to save them money and help them out here.
They don't listen to this thing.
Well, maybe somebody's listening who can pass on that information.
I don't think they care.
There's already studies out there. They all pretty much say the same thing year after year after year, which is that this is a loser. It's a losing proposition for the cities. Go and find a study out there. They're easy to find. Councilwoman 2, she said, this is just so we can put it on the ballot in the November election. What? Basically, we're allowing the residents to make that decision.
Oh, thank you for allowing it. Thank you for giving me the privilege. That's the word I was looking for. The privilege to vote on whether or not I will have a tax increase. Thank you.
She said every step of the way the residents get input. Well, that's nice. We get input. But do you listen, Maria? That's the question. That's the important part. The mayor, he made a comment about a person's sign. I don't know why he took the time to do it right at this point.
Because he wanted to go on a power trip?
Yeah, well, apparently the sign was too big. Now, folks, if you're going to have signs, you need to know the rules. If you go to a city council meeting, I suggest you know the rules. So, I don't agree with this, but this is their rule.
Stupid rule.
Your maximum sign size can only be an 8x11. So your typical printer sheet of paper.
So stupid.
Okay. I guess this gentleman had a sign that was larger than that.
Yeah, because how else are you supposed to see it? I mean, have you seen a regular 8x11 sheet of paper? It's your normal sheet of paper. That thing is tiny.
Yes. Now,
for a sign.
I understand they don't want big, huge signs like banners, okay? Because you don't want to get in anybody's way. But I think that if the sign can fit in your lap without taking up anyone else's space, perhaps like a yard sign, that's fine. I don't have a problem with that. But, well, that's their role. Like I said, I disagree with their role. Also, there were some people shouting from the audience. Guys, don't do that. Number one, you're not mic'd, so everybody at home can't hear what you're saying. Number two, it doesn't exactly help or make you look good, so I would avoid it. But
Yeah, you're just annoying them.
So the mayor asked for quiet, and the mayor said, "This is the council's meeting." Now, Mr. Mayor, I feel like I need to fill you in on something. No. The council meetings are not yours. They are not for you. They are not for staff. They are for the residents. There are meetings. You are there running the meeting as the chair at the pleasure of the voter. So that's not your meeting. It's not your building. It's our building. It's the residents' building.
He really admitted that he sees this entire thing as we're just the audience to their grand show.
Yes. That is exactly what he did there. And he's forgotten his place. And
They all have.
It happens with elected officials. I don't know what happens to them. I really don't. They go in and they're like, we want to serve our community. We want to, be, the voice, your representative. We want to listen to you. We want to work for you. And then they get there and their heads get 10 times their size. Their egos grow, and they think that they're just the end-all be-all, and that they know better, and whatever they say goes. And I'm sorry, that's not how this works.
Well, don't be sorry.
You're there at the pleasure of the voter. You're there to serve the voter. Not yourself, not staff, not council, Mr. Mayor. Sometimes I feel like these folks need a
reality check.
Yes, reality check, come to Jesus moment or come to Moses moment in our case.
What?
So the last thing that happened at the August 10th meeting of note was during comments of public interest. So a woman named Brianna Morello, who is a journalist, she called herself a journalist, got up to speak about something that happened to her, and it was very, very frightening.
Hold on.
Mm-hmm.
Did you mean Morello?
Yeah, Morello.
Yeah, it's Morello.
Morello, okay.
Not Morello.
Okay. So,
Sorry, that was just bothering me.
she said her last name very, very fast. Okay. So, this is what happened to her. Brianna was walking to her apartment in the Legacy West area, and she was walking her dog. And a man was following her.
Okay.
And she goes into a residence-only door, so a door that you have to have a passkey for. And the man follows her into her building. He quickly, when the door, she opens the door to go in, he grabs it, follows her into the building. And according to her, he asked, "Can I pet your dog?" She said, "No, you can't be in here. This is, you don't live here. You need to leave." He continued to follow her up the stairs. She was in a stairwell.
To, quote, pet her dog?
Yeah.
Weird.
She's already said no. You need to leave. Get out. So he follows her up the stairs, and she feels threatened. And we're in Texas, so we're allowed to carry guns. So she takes out her firearm. And in the video, you see him quickly run back down the stairs. He makes a beeline at them.
Don't follow a lady to her home, creep. Like, seriously.
Yes. Well, she calls the police. She reports it to Plano PD. And the cop who came to the scene, he brushed it off as he was just flirting with you.
That was a little more than flirting.
That was more than flirting, okay? Usually if you're flirting and the lady tells you, beat it, you get lost, okay? Also, because she's a reporter, she had been dealing with death threats at the time.
Death threats.
Yes. So, which the police department knew about, because she had informed them that she was getting death threats. And the officer, Ken Ming, pretty much blew her off and did nothing. But she's a journalist. So she's got some knowledge that maybe residents don't have. Like, she knows that she knew that there's cameras inside the apartment building, which Officer Ming declined to look at or ask for. She also knew how to make what's called a FOIA request, which means a citizen can request information like the body cam of the police officer, the full police report. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So this guy pretty much does nothing. So she's a journalist. She's got social media. She gets the video from her apartment building and she blasts it on her social media and asks, if anyone knows this guy, please tell me who he is.
Mm-hmm.
Well, somebody recognized him.
Of course.
And she found out his name and was able to get her day in court.
Okay.
We will put a link to the interview that Brianna did on YouTube so that you can hear her full story and actually see the video for yourself in her own words and make the judgment for yourself. But what happened to Brianna is something that every woman fears. Okay? And that's why we're bringing it up. And the fact that one police officer did not take it seriously is even more frightening than what happened to her. Okay? Now, we fully support our cops and our first responders here. And of course, there are always going to be police that make mistakes. And this
guy was just an idiot.
This officer made a huge mistake.
He was an idiot.
Well, I think idiot is a strong word.
Oh, you just don't like that word.
I just don't like that word, yes. But it
doesn't make it any less true. Mm.
I hate to say this, okay? I really hate to say this. But I feel that if that officer was a woman and not a man, if Officer Ming was Ms. Ming, I feel like this would have come out differently. And a female officer would have taken this woman seriously. Because men, I'm sorry, you just don't understand. Okay? At least some men. They don't understand this. This is not most men's biggest fear, being followed into your apartment building or to your home, grabbed, raped, and killed or kidnapped. Okay? Most men don't fear that. Okay? Most men do not have to have a plan if something like what happened to Brianna happens to them. Okay? They don't have scenarios in their head, running through their head of, okay, what am I going to do if this happens? Now, Brianna obviously had a plan because she had her handgun. So she knew exactly what she was going to do. And I think what's needed here in Plano PD, especially for the male officers, is better training. If a woman comes to you and say, hey, this guy followed me into my apartment building, trespass, that's a crime. By him stepping over the threshold, he's now committed a crime. He trespassed. He didn't live there. It was an entrance for residents only. She told him to leave, and he didn't. He continued to follow her up the stairwell.
How about just this? It's very simple. If somebody reports a crime, such as trespassing, no matter the genders, just take it seriously. Just do
Yes.
something. Like, I don't understand how you can disregard a report. You're not supposed to do that.
Yeah. No, she had to make a lot of noise about this. She had to keep pretty much hounding the Plano PD. And, the fact that she had to request the body cam, the fact that she had to request the video footage from her apartment building and go out and blast it on social media to find this guy, that should never have happened. So, like I said, she got her day in court. He has the man who followed her has been punished. And I really hope that the Plano PD trains their officers better in the future. Because we are supposed to be one of the safest cities in Texas. You will not continue, we will not continue to be one of the safest cities in Texas if predators find out that the Plano police, any of them, don't take women who report being followed seriously. Right. On to something of good news that I forgot to mention when I was talking about the stars. On August 25th, the Plano Citizens Coalition will have a meeting at 6:30 at the Willow Bend Mall. We posted this to our Facebook page. Okay? Councilman Kerr and Councilman Vidal will both be there to take questions from the residents on the Willow Bend redevelopment and possible stars relocation. Also, the owner of the mall property will be there to answer questions on pretty much why all of a sudden did the development plan change and other questions that the audience might have. So please go to our Facebook page. We did post it there. 6:30, the Willow Bend Mall, where same spot on the first floor where they had the open houses for the stars, I guess, relocation question and answer, which really didn't give us many answers, just more questions. All right, now on to some cute and cuddly news. You don't want to do Thor today?
I'm tired.
All right, I'll do Thor. So, our very important dog, Thor, is a friendly boy who is about 2 years of age, is very playful with children. He is active when he plays, so may be best in a home without younger children. Thor was very excited for his first pups in the park walk, and at this point he's probably had a few of those. He had a lot of energy as he left his kennel, but settled down quickly. He was very patient while being harnessed in the lobby of the shelter and loaded into the car without issue. Thor rode well in the car and was very relaxed. He walked well on leash and got along well with all the other dogs in the group. Thor exhibited no prey drive while encountering birds and squirrels along the walk. And if you are interested to learn more about Thor and see his cute and cuddly picture, please go to our website, www.planospoliticalpitbull.com. Plano.com and click on the link Pit Bulls for Adoption to find out more about cute Thor.
Or if you know someone, or else you will have to hear about Thor again next week. And the week after that. And the week after that.
Yes.
Because she refuses to find another dog.
I do. This dog needs a home. Now, Plano Shelter, it will only put dogs down that are in certain categories and for certain reasons. Just for certain reasons, okay? So, while I don't think they're going to put Thor down because he's not getting adopted, the longer...
If he gets kennel crazy.
That's what I'm getting to. The longer he stays in the shelter, the more susceptible he is to having kennel craziness.
Or was it kennel rage or something?
Yeah. And it's sad when that happens. Basically, dogs are not meant to be in kennels 24/7. Now, they do obviously take the dogs out for walks. They let them in the yard, in the fenced-off yard and stuff. But dogs are people animals. They need a pack. They need a home. And if Thor starts to go a little nuts, they will have to put him down. So
there was a dog we knew of who was in a kennel for a very long time. She was the sweetest dog. I met her, but we couldn't take her because of allergies.
Yeah.
She was the sweetest pit bull, but she was in there for so long, she started to see it like as her home, which caused her to become very territorial, which then caused her to bite people.
Yes.
And then the minute she bit someone, she had to be put down.
Yeah. She began to get too aggressive and she was no longer suitable to be adopted anymore. So it's a sad story, but that does happen to dogs. So if you can't take Thor, if you know somebody, if you know a pit bull rescue group, please. Thor has been on our list now for a very, very long time.
I think almost a year.
And
it feels like it.
I don't think it's been that long. It's been all summer. And I'm starting to get worried because this is the longest I think we've ever highlighted a dog.
The longest before, I think it was a girl. She was on for a bit, but not as long as this.
Yeah, this is the longest we've highlighted one particular dog. So, and we don't stop highlighting until they get adopted. So I would like to one day be able to announce soon that Thor has been adopted and we can go on to a different dog. So, like I said, you can go to our website, www.planospoliticalpitbull.com, to get more information on Thor. That is all for us today, folks. Please like, share, comment, and subscribe. It does help us. This is Esther.
And this is Ruth.
For Plano's Political Pitbull, signing off.